Good morning, everyone. This is Sandy Marrero with Western Marketing. Today we have with us National Regional Director of Sales for National General Group product, Don Worrell. We're going to be talking about the great opportunity that you guys may have by simply adding this new product on your portfolio or the group site for major medical. And then if we have any questions, if anyone have any questions, I'll have those questions answer once you have sent your contact information and gotten you set up for the group. So without further ado, Don.
Thank you, Sandy. Good morning, everybody. So today we'll just be going over the National General Group product, a little bit about National General, how the product works, where it can fit into your business practice, and ultimately going to show you how what we do is different than what the vast majority of brokers are showing and why it's going to benefit you and your clients. And we're going to make it easy for you as well. So National General, probably one of the largest companies that most people haven't heard of. We'll do over $5 billion of premium in 2019. All of our underwriting companies are rated A- by AM Best. We have over 8,500 employees. And nationally, we work with over 30,000 P&C brokers and 50,000 accident and health brokers. And National General is growing at a really rapid clip, over 20% every single year. In fact, Fortune magazine named us one of the fastest growing companies in the entire world. I think we were number 79. But we're growing through organic means as well as mergers and acquisitions. Some of the more recent accident and health acquisitions are Quote It and Health Compare, Lead Cloud, Health Network, and then our most recent is National Farmers Union Insurance. I believe they're out of North Dakota. That closed in November of last year. Our P&C segment, which I'm not really going to talk about, but to give you an idea of who National General is as a company, includes auto, home, commercial, vehicle, flood insurance, pretty broad portfolio. But our accident and health contains primarily small group self-funding, which is what I'll be talking about, and then our individual medical solutions, including short-term medical and some ancillary products. But our history goes back a long way. We can trace our roots back to 1892 with Time Insurance, which then transformed into John Alden, Fortis, Assurant Health, and then National General. And in the small group self-funded space specifically, we've been doing it longer than just about anybody else. We've been doing it for over 15 years in the small group space. And we started in community-rated states like Massachusetts, Washington, Colorado, a couple others where some of the rating provisions of the ACA were already in place. And as you can see, our block is growing very rapidly. That today number that you can see, it's about 7,500. That was actually about 6 months ago. We're nearing 9,000 groups now, over 150,000 members on the books. So the self-funded group block is really just exploding. And for those of you who haven't worked with us before, I want to give you some color on what it's like to work with us and how we're ultimately going to be valuable to you. Your sales rep, Chris Novak, is in office. He's not out delivering donuts. He's here to take your phone calls, to run your proposals, to handhold you and your groups through the entire process. He's going to give you product updates, teach you about the product. He'll run your quotes. He'll walk your groups through underwriting. He'll be your negotiator, for lack of a better word, with underwriting. He doesn't get paid unless you sell something. He'll help you with the final submission paperwork. When you send us a quote, we're going to get it back to you within 24 to 48 hours. Most of our competitors are a week or longer. Underwriting, we'll get numbers back to you within 48 hours. This time of year, the busy season, that can be 3 or 4 days. Once you submit the group, 3 to 5 business days to approve and 3 to 5 business days after that, you'll actually have ID cards in hand. So the whole process from a quote to a pre-screen to a sold group to a group having ID cards, we can get that whole thing done easily in less than 2 weeks. I would encourage you not to make us hold to that timeline. The longer we have, the better things go. But it is possible if you have that group that really drags their feet and needs a solution in a pretty drastic time crunch. We can make that work for you. Okay, self-funding for small groups. What is it that we're actually selling? We're going to get you out of the Affordable Care Act. And this might be a lot of detail, but it's important to know. Self-funding follows federal ERISA guidelines, which govern stop-loss insurance, versus state regulations, which govern health insurance. As I said, that might be a little too much detail, but stop-loss insurance, the way that we're selling it and packaging it together, it's going to operate just like health insurance from some of our competitors like Blue Cross, United, Aetna, Humana, whatever. Now, one thing that is important to know is a lot of groups and a lot of agents out there, they hear self-funding and their alarm bells go off as it relates to small groups. Small groups can't do self-funding. They're not big enough. They don't have enough money. Well, there's a difference between self-funding and level funding. Within self-funding, the group has to pay for claims, and those claims vary month to month. So can a small group absorb drastic cash flow swings? Most can't, which is why what we do is called level funding. The monthly cost is the same regardless of whether they have no claims or $1 million in claims. They pay the same amount every single month, and they know what that is going into the contract. And for healthy groups, they can save 20, 30% versus United, Blue Cross for the exact same plan. And the reason that we're able to do this is effectively because of underwriting. We're able to underwrite these plans, even a small group, versus the Affordable Care Act fully insured groups, which are not underwritten. So in community rating, low risk or low utilizing groups pay way too much, and high risk, high utilizing groups pay too little. The majority of groups are not high risk. Think the 80-20 rule. 20% of the groups account for 80% of the claims. And once we actually implement a group, a level funded and a fully insured group effectively operate the same. And within our program, we actually bundle all of the different components of self-funding together for you, which include stop-loss protection, administrative cost, and claims funding. Now, this is the mechanics of our quote. This is kind of where everything really comes together. And the best way to review this with Chris, as well as with your client, is, in my opinion, to start from the bottom and work your way up. What's the most important thing here? Well, the first thing you see is we have 4-tier composite rates. So everybody, if it's an employee only, employee spouse, employee child, or family coverage, they all pay the same. You don't have to look through this huge table to figure out, okay, this person pays this much and another person pays a different amount. Everybody pays the same under our program within that particular group. And when you add up all the different employees, the spouses, the kids, families, you get to that total monthly premium on the bottom. In this case, $9,151. Now you compare that against the fully insured alternative. Now some people like getting in the weeds. What are all these other numbers on here? So 9151, that number has 3 components to it, what I reviewed here on the previous slide. The first is claims account funding. That's the amount of money that we're setting aside to pay for claims on an annual basis. So of that 9151, we're setting aside $3,323 to pay for claims. On an annualized basis, see that on the top, called annual aggregate limit, $39,882. So all you have to do is multiply that number by 12 and you get that $39,000. That's the group's maximum liability. Self-funded, the employer has to pay for claims, but it's funded for every single month. So at the end of their contract, their liability is paid for. Admin, sales, general expenses, that's TPA fees, that's network access, that's agent commissions, very important. And then stop loss premium. That's the last part. That is what National General retains to do two things. One, pay everything over that $39,882. Or if somebody has a claim of above 20, we're going to pay everything above that as well. So to give you an example, if somebody had a $50,000 claim, what would happen? Excuse me. 20,000 is going to be subtracted from the 39,882. Let's just round up and say that that's 40,000. So there's $20,000 left over. Who pays the other 30,000? Well, that National General does. So that's kind of how this plan works. All the employer has to do is worry about this $9,151, and all of this other stuff is happening behind the scenes. Okay, so who can you actually sell this to? In the vast majority of states, we can sell groups of 2 to 400. If you happen to come across one that's larger, let us know. But typically 400 is kind of a good cap. There are certain states where there are size restrictions. They typically are on either the east or west coast. But get in touch with Chris if you have specific market questions, and he'll be happy to walk you through them. But the vast majority of states are 2 to 400. We are available in 49 states. The only state that we do not have any product in is Hawaii. We have a bunch of different options. Our traditional, which has in and out of network coverage, what we call our Advantage plans, which is in network only. And then we have a unique program called reference-based pricing. I'm not going to get into that today, but if you take the savings of our traditional platforms, which are typically 20, 30, maybe even 40% below a fully insured alternative, reference-based pricing is actually going to decrease, or they're going to increase those savings drastically. It is probably the least expensive group health plan on the street in almost any market by any carrier. There are some moving parts behind it, though, that need to be explained. But once we explain them, a lot of groups really, really like our plans. If you do have questions about that, please contact Chris. For our traditional network options, though, our primary go-tos are the Aetna Signature Administrators Network and the Cigna OAP. Those are both national PPOs. They all include the Mayo Health System, best hospital in the world. So that's a big selling point. And there's a couple states where there are some, call them local or tight networks. Again, ask Chris about those. We get asked about participation a lot. How many people in a group do you need to actually take it? Well, if you have 10 full-time employees, we need at least 5. So 50% of eligible, or 75% after valid waivers. Which could be individual medical, individual medical, spouse coverage, TRICARE, Medicare, Medicaid. Anything that's considered to be a major medical plan is a valid waiver. We will write any type of group with an employer-employee relationship. That includes churches, schools, municipalities. A lot of our competitors will not write those. We will. But some of our biggest industry verticals are IT, agriculture, service industry, manufacturing, anything that where it's blue collar and you have a lot of young men in it, we're going to be a really, really good fit, but we will ultimately write any type of group. COBRA's free with our plans, as are Section 125s. Some niche markets that we operate in, 1099s are allowed. With no restrictions. The employer has the opportunity to cover those individuals if they want. We do allow carve-outs. So if you have a business that just wants to cover their managers or maybe only their salaried employees, we will allow that. And because of our national networks, we have a multi-location specialty. So if you have employees in Iowa and Alaska for the same group, we're going to be a really good fit for those because of the national nature of our networks. Getting to the really good stuff, aggressive commissions. Our comp starts at 7% for our traditional plans, 8% for reference-based pricing. It's flexible. You can go up or down for a one-to-one reflection on premium. So if you're saving the group 30, 40%, and you want to give yourself a few extra percentage points on the comp, you are able to do that. And what may be our number one differentiator is actually our custom plan designs. We don't have like NatGen plans 1 through 10, pick one. You can tell us what deductible you want, what co-insurance, what out-of-pocket, what co-pays, what network, ER coverage, diagnostic X-ray lab options. You put all the different possibilities together, it's something like 100,000 different options. It's an extremely robust portfolio. Now, how do you actually get a quote? If it's less than 51 enrolling, we need a census, so that's dates of birth, genders, dependent coverage, group information, so what is the name of the business that you want to quote on, their zip code, and if you can provide it to us, plan design or renewal is very, very helpful. Just because of how many plans that we ultimately have, we have to know what to show you. And if you do have a group block already, I would encourage you to quote everything with us. Don't pick and choose. One thing that new agents fall into a trap with is, we hear this a lot, oh, the group wasn't interested in this. Well, you never quoted the group with us. How could an employer be interested in the plan without seeing numbers first? So before you start talking about self-funding and the advantages of it, get a quote. That's the first step of the process. Once you get a quote from us and the employer sees the rates, they're going to want to go through the application process to get the firmed up numbers. And how do you ultimately get those firmed up numbers? We require individual medical questionnaires, or IMQs. It's a pretty straightforward application. It's 5 pages. There's only 2 pages that have medical on them. One is kind of, check anything that might be wrong with you, and on the following page, describe yes answers, kind of like that. Chris is going to be your advocate internally for underwriting. So if he's going to look through your applications, he's going to look through the underwriting assessment, he's going to try and poke holes in it to get you the best possible price. And if you can, please share renewal or competitor information. Our actuaries will review it to see if we can provide you a better offer. Commissions, this is our commission table. Groups of under 25 on our traditional platform are 7% commission, reference-based pricing 8%, 25 to 50, 6%. Traditional 7% reference-based pricing. And if you happen to come across a large group, we do pay a per employee per month commission, which is $25. You are able to dial up or down for a 1-to-1 change in premium to a max of 22%. So if you do find that group, and we do have a lot of brokers that do it, you can dial your group health commission up to 20%, 22%, which is really unheard of, especially in our big competitors, the BUCA carriers. They're decreasing comp on their major medical products. We ultimately want to provide you guys a living, so give us a chance, and we'll make it worth your while. So ultimately, what's our value proposition to you? You've got dedicated sales and post-sales service with us. We have more experience than our competition. Our model is proven. We're experiencing dramatic growth. When you put all of our potential options together, we easily have the largest portfolio in the industry. If you currently have group, start looking at us. We're going to pay you more and save your clients a lot of money. And if you don't have any groups, start looking. A lot of brokers out there, it's easy for them to just renew them where they are, and not do the extra work to try and find a cost-saving alternative. Some of those niche markets, a lot of carriers, a lot of groups don't know that they can offer health insurance, because most carriers don't do things like 1099s or carve-outs. So your hair salons, your real estate agencies, a lot of those don't know that they can offer group health. We have a pretty robust online portal, so easy to manage your groups, and some pretty unique underwriting methodology that ultimately will benefit your groups in terms of rates. If you have any questions on this, please contact Chris Novak. He is Western Marketing's dedicated sales representative. His direct line is there, 414-604-5479, and his email, chris.novak@ngIC.com. With that, I will end. Sandy, I appreciate your time this morning, and we look forward to writing a lot of business. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Don. Like you said, it's very, very important for agents to start looking. you will find out that there's quite a bit of business to be written if you just start looking. And with such a nice partnership that we have with you guys, and that Chris uh, making it possible for everybody to take advantage of this, I think it's a no-brainer for agents to start getting that new book of business on their portfolio. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we'll have this information and more information for you, brochures, anything else or anything that any agents need for to write a group or to get a quote. I'll have it ready for them to get it. So I appreciate it. You have a great one. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.